Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the season 5 premiere of Queen Sugar. I am so excited. So let's go on ahead and get into this recap. Y'all, Nova is at the house meditating and doing what she normally does. Y'all know what she's into. She is starting anew. She done cut her locks off, and it's about to be new Nova around here. She's moving forward in her life. Ralph Angel is at the house outside, like he's just, taking in the land and, Southern living. If you ain't from the South or you have never experienced just being outside and experiencing nature, when it's like at the time that he's at, in the morning, early in the morning, and all that, it is just a lot. It is very calming and relaxing. But he's out there, and Blue comes outside. And apparently, they have allowed him to watch Star Wars. Y'all, Star Wars, excuse me. And he came out there, he was like, Ralph Angel Bordelon, I am your father. Breakfast is ready. He made me giggle. But yeah, they allowed him to cook from time to time or whatever. And so I think they've been allowing him to do it a whole lot more lately since they've become a big happy family again. And so they went inside to wake Darla up with breakfast in bed. They have been giving her breakfast in bed 4 days in a row straight so far. And she tried the toast because he's been burning the toast down. And she lied to this child, talking about it's good and all that or whatever. So Ralph Angel told him that he needed to go and get ready for school. So he was like, why you lying to that child like that? Why you lying to that boy like that? Talking about that toast is good. So anyway, I'm glad that they are in a really good space. Darla says that she's happy, and he said that he's happy as well. So I'm like, yes, y'all better do that. Come on, Black Love. So anyway, y'all, Nova has cut her hair, and her hair is a really curly mohawk. And Charlie is at home, and she's getting ready to go and handle some business. But before she does that, she's been trying to get in contact with her son Micah, who is off in college. She hasn't seen him in 2 months. He hasn't been home. She don't know what's going on, but he has not been coming back. So he finally answers the phone, and he was like, Mom, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you, but I've been really, really busy, and I'm not going to make it today either, because today is a big day, y'all. Y'all going to see. I'll go see why it's a big day soon. So anyway, she was like, okay, well, I understand. So all on the news, it is talking about Charlie and what she's been pushing and trying to get done. And so then her whole family, everybody, Hollywood is there, Violet is there, her aunt, her brother and sister, like everybody is there at this proceeding, which is, it's been behind closed doors because the heifer, Francis, the heifer who they arrested last season for burning down their sugar mill, she just sat up here, and because she want to save face, she has not, she's been petitioning the court to have it private so that everything that's happening, nobody knows and can see her or whatever. So anyway, they're in there, and they are there for the final day, and the judge was like, what you're not finna do is come up in here and try to rewrite what we have already said it is. We said, we've done what we said we was gonna do, as far as we have found you guilty of doing what we said you've done. She coming up in that talk. I mean, she really was in there trying to have a whole speech. And I'm like, girl, if you don't get somewhere, sit down. Anyway, to make a long story short, the judge sentenced this heifer to 7 years in prison. And y'all already know how it's gonna go. Heifer probably gonna get out for good behavior if she don't die first. She probably gonna get out early, and something gonna happen, whatever. The heifer Parker, who was the black woman that we know from How to Get Away with Murder Underground and things like that, who we met last season, who was like, I think she like kin to the Bordelons or some kind of way. I think they daddy is her daddy or something. I don't know, y'all. She has dealings with them. Let's put it like that. But I thought that one of them, I think she related to one of them. Y'all Y'all know how I am. Y'all can correct me down in the comment section. I don't care. It ain't that deep. But anyway, so she came just in time to see that sentence come down on that raggedy heifer. And her family was elated. And they left out, right? So they leaving out, going on about their business. Y'all, this has been a really good episode. I recorded this once before and it was like way too long. Hopefully it won't be too long this time. But anyway, y'all, so moving forward, Hollywood and Violet are cooking up some things. They are actually going to be catering a 300-person event for Charlie, and it's going to be Feast of St. Josephine. And it's something that they're implementing that's going to happen at the end of every Black History Month to celebrate the woman who the parish was named after and everybody who came before them, where everybody's going to get together in St. Joe and eat and, you know, have festivities just surrounding that and knowing that they are who they are as a parish because of these people, and namely her. So yeah, they haven't done this big of a catering event before, but they're looking forward to it. They in there talking, y'all. They in there jamming. When I tell you, as soon as the scene came on, I had to pause it because I got happy because the song that was playing in the background, I live for it. I live for the Daz Band. Y'all know that song that was playing in the background? I want to see you with me, show the treat right. Give me just a minute of your time tonight. We both are here to have good fun, so let it with y'all. I live. That song give me my entire life. There's no time. There is no time to lose. Yeah, I live. I get my entire life when I hear that song. But anyway, so they talking. And eventually it gets on the subject of sex or whatever. And she was like, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. No, you ain't gonna work. Go on somewhere. Get away from here. And y'all know with, you know, her diagnosis last season, they are, you know, he's definitely stepped up a whole lot. Like Hollywood is everything. Oh, Hollywood, everything. But anyway, you know, he just stuck with her. People been reading their relationship because she's much older than him and all of that. And I mean, despite everything that's been going on, their lack of sex, because they have been very sexual people, you know, they trying to get back into it and they might be in a better place. But yeah, she had to let him know, no, we ain't got time for that. We got a schedule we got to keep. No. So then he was able to convince her to go ahead and give him a little piece or something. And so he was like, you know, I ain't got nothing to prove. And so she was like, yes, you do. And I was like, ma'am. But anyway, y'all, they doing what they doing and I'm here for it. So, y'all, I'm getting my entire life. Ralph Angel gets a knock at the door while he's trying to have his little family moment with Darla in the kitchen while he's actually washing dishes. And so the person came and they said, well, I don't know what it is, but I have to have your signature to release it to you so that you can find out what it is. So he signed for the letter. He opened the letter and balled it up. Darla want to know what's going on because she can tell someone right even before he even balled the paper up. So later on in the episode, we find out that eminent domain is being pushed on the Black farmers. And they're going to try to take over their land and all this other stuff. Like, I can't. If you don't know nothing about how that go and how detrimental that can be for anybody that's in that predicament, especially somebody like Ralph Angel, that is their livelihood. And that is your legacy. Like with my daddy, like I told y'all the other day, we have land. And a lot of people do not understand the importance of land ownership. If you own your land, that is one of the top things that you can have that people are going to always be actively seeking out from you and hope that you will be dumb enough or they can catch you on your worst day to try to sell it, to get you to sell it to them for little to nothing. Like, if you can hold on to your land, try to do that because it is really worth a whole lot. Land is where it's at. Land ownership. Y'all. But anyway, so he get this letter, he done balled it up. And she don't know what's going on. So y'all, Nova, before we even get to that part, she wanted to know, is he gonna go to Nova's gathering? She's having a soiree later on because she's going legit and all of that. Cause y'all know she, you know, do weed and all kinds of other medicinal things to help people in the community, and everybody live for it. But she needs to be, she needs to go on the straight and narrow. She has a name and a brand now. Like, she's known. The book, the memoir, and all that stuff that she put out, like, people live for her and they want more from her outside of the medicinal side. But if she's still gonna have that business going, she had to go on the straight and narrow. So that's what she's doing. So she had the soiree and she's making her rounds, and that main person who she used to have her dealings with the weed, he's there supporting, and he ain't really here for it. And he was like, I mean, I'd rather be smoking, but it is what it is. And she was like, I would too, but I gotta do what I gotta do. He ain't here for it. And she had to explain to him that she's moving forward. And that's what it is. Like, it's growth and she's moving forward. So he's trying to see what she's saying, but he kind of looking at it from his perspective, because he's not going to be able to get the business that he was getting before, because she doing vaping and all this other stuff. Her business is more along those lines. And she's not gonna really need him like that. Like, she cutting out the middleman. So anyway, she making her rounds, and her bae there, Calvin, is there, and somebody is talking to him. A lot of people are questioning him because y'all know he used to be a police officer, and y'all know her nephew Micah got beat down by this trifling, racist white police officer last season or the season before last, and it was just a lot. It was very traumatizing. And so they were asking him questions, and he had to explain that, I used to be a police officer, but I was never one of those that was like that. I didn't do that. I did my job. I was, on the straight and narrow. And he just had to let them know that he was not here for the foolishness. So Nova did this expose and on the company that's trying to take over and have these highways and things run through St. Joe. And the man that was in the video, he was saying that, he's in Oklahoma and he's lived there his whole life. He has his own business. And this company rolled up on him with this seemingly amazing offer. And as soon as he, allowed it to go through and, was on board with everything, it's like they switched it up on him. They tried him, got redlined, and his life has been trash and just hell on earth ever since. And so, that's playing in the background. And then we see Ralph Angel come. Now, we didn't know if he was going to come or not, because he's very, upset with Nova. Yeah, he's very upset with Nova. He still hasn't forgiven her. But the fact that he was grown enough and a big enough person to come and support her, I have to commend him for that, because normally if he ain't here for you, he ain't doing it, whether you related or not. So he done showed up. So him, Nova, and Charlie then went off to the side, and he is showing them the letter. And this is when we find out that it is eminent domain and all this other stuff. Charlie said it off rip. Man, that party was over with, for her at least. She set it off and was like, yep, I'm done with this. She called an emergency meeting. And y'all, I might put it in here if I remember, or somewhere in the comments. But one of the councilmen that came, he was tired of his spirit, because he was like, really, y'all done woke me up out of my sleep in the middle of the night for this? Like, he really mad that he had to get up out of his sleep in the middle of the night. But she had to call this emergency meeting because y'all is really trying it. Y'all are really trying to black-owned business. Y'all really trying to black-owned businesses right now, the farmers. You know what I'm saying? And whether y'all want to accept it or not, that's the heart of it all. That's the heart of St. Joe. Like, stop. So anyway, Charlie set it off, and she was like, well, I'm sorry to have disturbed his beauty rest, but I feel like this is more important. I guess he thinks that his beauty rest is more important than y'all. And, Ralph Angel stood up and he was like, this don't make no sense. And like, he went all the way off in the meeting about it, right? Because eminent domain is just not where it's at. That is just trash. They're coming in doing the most. And Charlie was like, I've been doing all that I can. I am so sorry that this is happening, but I'm going to continue to fight. Like, Charlie really has been setting it off. And so Ralph Angel was like, Charlie, I appreciate everything that you've done. You have done a whole lot. But what about all these other councilmen up here? What about all the other council people up here? They ain't done nothing. You the only one been sending it. Like, he said it all the way off. I was like, Lord have mercy. He tell the truth though. Charlie really been the only one setting it off. You don't see none of these other people's names in the news for helping and trying to help with the initiative. Charlie is just the only one. So he was like, I appreciate you, Charlie, but what about all these other people? He'd have set it off. I said, Lord, I don't blame him though. So anyway, after it was over, considering it's still in the middle of the night, he's now at home. Ralph Angel's at the house, and then he get a knock at the door, and he looked back, and it is Nova. So Nova went on ahead and let herself inside, and considering this is still a time in a place, let me say a place, because this ain't the time for me. I don't care if I was living there or not, where you live in the country and you don't think nobody gonna roll up on you. Nobody usually has the audacity to just roll up in your house. And when everybody is still awake, the doors and stuff are still unlocked and all that. My parents used to keep the house unlocked. Somebody came and robbed us one time and took all my father's tools, which were very, very valuable. He had a whole lot of them, and other valuables around the house that were outside. And ever since then, my dad has been locking stuff up. And I keep I'm very paranoid. I was a child when this happened. So we lock stuff up. But I noticed that, y'all, I just can't. I get it. To me, it's a nod to how it used to be, where you could just roll up and just know that it's open, and somebody might yell, it's open, you can come in. Nah. But Nova came in and they were talking, and she asked him, was he okay? And he was like, I'm not letting them take my daddy's land. I'm not even letting them take what my daddy gave to me. So he just set it off. And so she was like, hopefully one day, I pray that you will forgive me, fully forgive me for everything that I've done. And so he was like, yeah, I hope so too. And she hugged him and they had a moment. So I just love the fact that Ralph Angel has evolved, because when I first saw him, I used to have very conflicting feelings about him, but I understand he had just gotten out of jail, prison, wherever, and he felt like the world was against him. Every time he tried to go get a job, everybody was trying him. His daddy was still alive. He still was trying to be there for his son. Then things start kind of going in the right direction. Then his daddy died. And then his world just stays in a constant, let me turn this world upside down. As soon as he makes 2 steps forward, he gets knocked back 1. And I'm just like, what in the world? He can't win for losing. That's what it seemed like. So I can understand why he feels the way he feels. So anyway, Nova and Charlie went to this proceeding. It's like a little, really, really small proceeding where they were going to discuss the eminent domain situation. And old girl Parker, the heifer Parker, and she was on her side with her lawyers, and Charlie and Nova were on the side with their lawyers, and they were discussing it because Charlie wanted to get them to put a hold on that. Y'all, not only did the judge put a hold on it until they could do their own independent findings and whatever, all the research and things they need to do in-house, she was like, I'm also going to make it so that we can somehow have it where none of the land on the board, as far as your family is concerned, will be disturbed, and most of the other Black farmers won't have any worries as well. So whenever they do want to try to have this highway to come through, it won't have anything to do with them, and they won't be affected. So it was a win-win all around. So they done left out. They done left out the room, and they about to leave out. And the heifer Parker that stayed behind, she over here trying to shake Charlie's hand. Charlie ain't here for it. She looking at her like, girl, if you don't get somewhere. So she was like, well, can I talk to you for a second by myself, alone? Can I talk to you for alone for a minute? Nova had to go ahead and read this heifer and was like, never, today or tomorrow, never in your life will you ever be able to dismiss me. Whatever you gotta say, you could say it in front of me. That's what you could do. So then she, tried to act civil in that moment, and she was like, well, I just wanted to discuss with her that, I wanted to see if we can work on having a partnership and us actually agreeing on some things. But let me know when you want to meet and we could do that. So then Hollywood, he has his man spot that he's trying to get going, where the men can come and vent and talk. And, a lot of men don't have anybody to talk to. But women, we have so many different places that we normally can turn, and circles of the world, and like little situations like that. But you don't really hear about men, especially not black men, having a place to go where they can talk and do whatever they're gonna do. So Hollywood is at the building where he is getting it ready. They are painting it, and while they're in the middle of painting, apparently Ralph Angel and Prosper have made a bet. One of them bet that they know that he's going to change the color again. And he was just like, he ended up saying, do y'all think I need to change the color again? And one of them said, I ain't got no money on me right now. And so he was like, what y'all over there talking about? And then he learned of the bet, and so they were talking. So anyway, Ralph Angel was like, I gotta go. Blue is making dinner, and I gotta be there on time. And even Hollywood was like, yeah, I heard that Blue don't play when it come to that, so you better get on out of here. Blue does not play. You better be there on time, honey. So they talking, and it is what it is. So now Nova done got home. She finna eat dinner, and she done came in the bedroom where there's now a TV, because y'all know Nova don't do all that. Nova, she's one of those people where you don't have TVs where you sleep, and you need to just be able to have your full focus on sleeping if you're going to be in a bedroom. So Calvin has convinced her to be able to put a TV in there. They're in there eating dinner. He got his plate on a silk pillowcase, and she done went all the way off. And so he was like, well, I didn't think it was a problem since you cut your locks off. And so he was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is something I have to add to my list. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to get your life right. So anyway, they are having the dinner, and I was about to say Nova. Darla has said the grace. And so Blue wasn't happy with that, because he was like, Pop, you never say the grace. You have a lot to be thankful for. You have things that you could talk about too. Mom said that you came home really happy and some good news happened. And so he was like, yeah, your Aunt Charlie did tell me some good news. So he ended up, saying a prayer, and he said that he was thankful for his house, thankful for Blue and all this other stuff. Then he paused and took a look at Darla, and it's like he didn't even know how to say it. And I was just like, come on now, you're going to have to go ahead and get that straight. Y'all going to have to talk about this, because I know that the engagement was off, but y'all need to go ahead and get it right. Go ahead and get married. Do what you're going to do. So then he was like, the love of my life. I'm thankful for the love of my life. And then he was done with the prayer. Blue was happy with that and went on by his business. So the heifer, Parker, did decide to finally meet up with Charlie. And Charlie, of course, wanted her to come over by the mill for her to see it. That was her whole strategy the whole time, for her to see the damage that had been done by Francis. Well, that heifer was there for her own agenda. And she was like, look, I'm here because I want to offer an even better deal. I want to sweeten the deal for the black farmers. And so she was like, they are offering, the company that she's working for is offering double the amount that they would have gotten had they actually gotten money from the government, to go on ahead and let them do what they're going to do. And eminent domain is taken off the table, and they are going to fast track a lot of the stuff they're trying to get done. But they got to agree to it. And so she was like, we're not taking the deal. So she was like, oh, so you speak for all the farmers. You speak for everybody in St. Joe? And so she just looked at her like I said what I said. And so she was like, okay, well, this is just beginning. So she was like, I do know how to fight. So it is what it is. So anyway, Calvin has gone for a run, and he then came back to the house, and Nova's there, and they're talking. And so he's very happy that he has gotten in good with her family and friends, and, nobody's coming at them sideways about their relationship anymore. And so she was like, well, when am I going to get a chance to meet your family? Because, we've already discussed this. And so she was like, well, when did you say that your grandfather's birthday party was? And so he was just like, oh, well, yeah, I think we just gonna sit that out. And so she was like, what you mean? Child, the most of them went down. And I'm just like, girl, he trying to shield you from the racism that is his grandfather, because he kind of kept trying to make it seem like, he's a hard person to get along with. He's very mean and whatever. And so she was like, we said that we weren't hiding anymore. So let's do that. We're all the way out and open with it. It's time to rip the bandage off. I'm like, girl, I'm not really trying to subject myself to a hurtful situation, knowing good and well I know what I'm going to get out of it. This man know his granddaddy. So I wouldn't sit up there and subject myself to that. But she really want to be here for it, I guess, because I mean I know she could hold her own, but I'm just like, I'm not here for it. I'm good. I'll be like, nah, I'm good. So anyway, y'all, when I did this the first time, I kept saying, okay, is Micah doing drugs or is he in a fraternity? So it turns out the reason why he been running around like this whole episode, every time you look up, some dude come out of nowhere talking, we gotta go, we gonna be late. And I mean, he come out of nowhere while he in the middle of trying to study and do whatever he doing at the school. And y'all, he's in a fraternity. He's just crossed and now he's in this fraternity. So he's really, really happy. So anyway, back in St. Joe, they are having a celebration. It's called the Feast of St. Josephine. And this is going to be a day at the end of Black History Month every year that they're going to celebrate the woman who the parish is named after and all of its residents and the people who came before them. And so they're going to eat and celebrate. So they're in the inside now celebrating. And then the heifer, Parker, done rolled up. She done got on with the bank. And I was like, oh no, this heifer done went all the way off. And so she's talking about, okay, so now we have made it so we're going to go all around what we was going to do before. We're not going to really disturb any of the Black farmers, especially not the border loans. But now the area that she's talking about is a cemetery. Man, as soon as that heifer left, everybody set it off. They was like, I got family members from 3 centuries, for 3 generations out there. What you gonna do about this, Charlie? I'm talking about they rolled all the way up on Charlie. I was like, oh God, y'all done went off. So Charlie, she finally leave out of the situation. She went into her little office or room or wherever she was at trying to breathe. And Violet came in there to ask her, was she okay? She was like, no, but I will be. Y'all, so the end of the episode came and we see we see Darla and Ralph Angel out and about. Look like they out on a little date and they walking and they talking. And he eventually proposes to her and he's very happy about it. And I'm like, good for y'all. I'm here for it. And he happy for it. Like, he really is happy. He done picked up. He was like, this is my wife right here, y'all. This is my wife right here. He just set it off. So I'm here for it. I'm very excited to see what is going to come of the rest of the season. This is a very great opener. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you have not, turn on your post notifications, and let's get down in the comment sections and talk about this. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.